When was the last time you stopped searching for love and simply allowed yourself to breathe? Not to worry, not to wonder, not to ask when it will come, but to become still for one quiet moment and let your heart rest. So many people spend so much of their life looking for love with tired eyes and a heavy heart. They search in every direction. They search in memories. They search in the future. They search in the words of other people, in signs, in messages, in silence, in waiting. And after a while, that searching can begin to feel like pain. It can begin to feel like pressure. It can begin to feel as if love is something far away, something hard to reach, something that must be chased before it disappears. But what if love is not asking to be chased at all? What if love is asking you to become quiet enough to receive it? There is a deep peace that enters the heart when you stop running after what is already being guided toward you. There is a soft kind of healing that begins when you stop asking, "Where is it? Why is it not here yet? What am I doing wrong?" And instead begin to whisper, "I trust life. I trust what belongs to me. I trust that love can find me without struggle." These are not just comforting words. They carry a truth that can change the way you live, the way you wait, and the way you see your own worth. Because love does not always arrive through force. It does not always appear when the mind is full of fear. It does not always enter when the heart is gripping too tightly. Love often comes in softly. Love often comes when the soul is open. Love often arrives when the need to control begins to fade. Many people have been taught that if they want love, they must work for it endlessly. They must prove themselves. They must become more pleasing, more perfect, more impressive, more desirable. They must not say the wrong thing. They must not wait too long. They must not miss their chance. They must always be doing something, fixing something, improving something, chasing something, and so the heart becomes tired. The spirit becomes tense. The natural joy of being alive gets replaced with a quiet fear that says, "If I stop searching, maybe love will never come." But that fear is not the voice of truth. That fear is the voice of pressure. That fear is the voice of forgetting. And forgetting can make us believe that love is outside of us, far from us, and hard to reach. Yet love has never needed fear in order to find us. There is something beautiful that happens when you stop making love into a struggle. You begin to feel your own life again. You begin to return to yourself. You begin to notice that your worth was never missing. Your goodness was never missing. Your ability to receive was never missing. It may have been covered by fear. It may have been hidden under disappointment. It may have been buried beneath old pain, but it was never gone. And once you remember this, even a little, the whole energy inside you starts to change. Your breath becomes softer. Your thoughts become kinder. Your heart becomes less desperate and more open. You stop trying to squeeze love out of life, and you begin to trust that life knows how to bring it. Love cannot be rushed by panic. It cannot be made pure by fear. It cannot be made lasting by force. Real love is not something that grows stronger because you worry more. Real love is not something that appears because you overthink every detail. Real love is not drawn to the energy of proving and chasing. Love is drawn to truth. Love is drawn to openness. Love is drawn to the quiet power of a heart that knows it does not need to beg to be blessed. And that is why stopping the search is not the same as giving up. It is something much deeper. It is releasing the struggle. It is putting down the weight. It is allowing your soul to breathe again. It is saying, I no longer believe I have to hunt for what is meant for me. Maybe you know what it feels like to keep looking and looking until even hope feels heavy. Maybe you know what it is like to wonder why other people seem to receive love so easily while you keep waiting. Maybe you know what it is like to question yourself after silence, to question timing, to question life, to question your own heart. In moments like that, it is easy to believe that something is wrong. It is easy to believe that love has forgotten your address. It is easy to believe that you have been left behind. But life does not forget you. Love does not lose sight of you. What is meant for you is not confused. What belongs to you is not frightened away by time. And what is real does not need you to live in fear in order to arrive. The heart becomes clear when it is no longer chasing shadows. The soul becomes light when it is no longer trying to control every outcome. Think of how exhausting it is to live in concept. Can't search, to always be watching, to always be guessing, to always be asking if this moment is the moment, if this sign is the sign, if this person is the person, if this delay means something is wrong. That kind of searching can pull you far away from your own center. It can make today feel empty because the mind is always leaning into tomorrow. It can make you forget the love that is already trying to rise from within you. And when you forget the love within, you begin to fear the love outside. That is how struggle grows. But there is another way to live. There is another way to hold the idea of love in your life. It is softer, it is wiser, it is calmer. It says, I do not need to chase what can be guided. I do not need to force what can unfold. I do not need to fear what can arrive in peace. This way of living does not make you cold. It does not make you closed. It does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop harming your own heart with endless pressure. It means you stop treating love like a race. It means you stop acting as if your life begins only when someone or something arrives. And in that space, a miracle begins. Not because the outside changes at once, but because you change. Your energy changes, your trust grows, your heart opens, you become a place where love can land. It is important to understand this deeply. Not searching does not mean you no longer desire love. It means your desire no longer comes from fear. It means you can want something beautiful without becoming lost in the wanting. It means you can honor the dream without worshiping the delay. It means you can hold hope without carrying panic. It means you can say, yes, I would love to receive love, while also saying, and until it comes, I will not abandon myself. I will not turn against life. I will not believe I am less because I am still waiting. That is a powerful place to stand. That is a holy place to stand. Because when your desire is no longer mixed with fear, it becomes much easier for peace to enter. So many hearts do not need more searching. They need more resting. They need more trust. They need more room to open. They need to remember that love is not only a future event. Love is also a present state. Love is in the way you speak to yourself. Love is in the way you care for your spirit when no one is watching. Love is in the way you stay gentle with your own heart after disappointment. Love is in the way you keep believing in goodness even after pain. The person who learns how to live in that kind of love becomes deeply magnetic, not because they are performing, but because they are real. They are no longer asking life to save them from themselves. They are standing in quiet partnership with life. There is a calm truth that can hold you now. What belongs to you does not need to be hunted down in fear. What belongs to you can be guided by life itself. This does not mean there will never be action. This does not mean you will never need courage. This does not mean timing will always make sense right away, but it does mean that fear is not the force that brings what is meant for you. Fear only clouds the way. Fear only tightens the heart. Fear only makes waiting feel like punishment. Trust does something very different. Trust opens the door. Trust relaxes the body. Trust tells your whole being that you are safe enough to receive without fighting. Imagine what it would feel like to stop checking, stop forcing, stop trying to read every silence as a sign against you. Imagine what it would feel like to sit with yourself in peace and say, if love is meant for me, it can find me. If something is true, it can stay. If something belongs in my life, life knows how to bring it. Even reading words like that may make something in you soften. That softness matters. That softness is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the beginning of a new way of being. It is the beginning of freedom from the old habit of making love into labor. Because love is not meant to be a burden on your spirit. It is not meant to turn your days into worry. It is not meant to make you feel that you are constantly running behind your own blessing. The more deeply you trust life, the less you need to chase proof, the less you need to question every step, the less you need to live from the fear that something good will pass you by unless you hold on too tightly. What is truly yours carries a quiet strength. It can move through delays. It can move through change. It can move through uncertainty. It does not vanish just because you choose peace. In fact, peace often makes it easier to receive because a peaceful heart notices clearly. A peaceful mind does not create as much noise. A peaceful spirit can hear the gentle direction of life. There is great beauty in the moment you stop saying, I must make this happen, and begin saying, I am willing to let life bring me what is right. That shift may seem small, but it changes everything. It changes the way you wake up. It changes the way you move through your day. It changes the way you interpret silence, delay, and uncertainty. Suddenly, not everything feels like a problem. Not everything feels like a threat. Not everything feels like a sign of failure. Some things begin to feel like preparation. Some things begin to feel like protection. Some things begin to feel like life gently moving pieces into place in ways you cannot yet see. And maybe that is what your heart has been longing for all along. Not just love itself, but relief from the struggle around love, relief from the pressure, relief from the tired cycle of looking outside yourself for proof that you are wanted, worthy, and not forgotten. Because the deepest healing begins when you remember that your value has never depended on how quickly something arrives. Your worth is not measured by timing. Your lovability is not measured by delay. Your beauty is not reduced because the road has taken longer than you hoped. Life is not late in loving you. Life is not careless with your heart. Life may simply be guiding you in ways that only peace can understand. Let the old pressure begin to leave your body now. Let the need to chase begin to loosen. Let the fear that you have missed something begin to soften. Breathe into the truth that love does not need your panic. Love does not need your endless searching. Love does not need you to become someone else. What is meant for you can arrive through the doors life opens at the right time. What is meant for you can recognize your spirit without struggle. What is meant for you can meet you where you are. And when you really begin to trust this, you do not become passive. You become peaceful. You become present. You become available to goodness. The heart that trusts is not a heart that has stopped caring. It is a heart that has stopped fighting life. It is a heart that has chosen to believe that there is a deeper order moving underneath the surface of things. It is a heart that understands that not every delay is loss and not every silence is rejection. Sometimes the space between longing and arrival is where the soul learns how to rest. Sometimes the waiting is not empty at all. Sometimes it is full of quiet preparation. Sometimes it is where you are being taught that love is not only something you find, it is also something you become ready to receive. So if you feel tired of searching, maybe that tiredness is not failure. Maybe it is wisdom. Maybe it is your soul gently telling you that there is another path, a softer path, a truer path, a path where trust replaces chasing, a path where peace replaces pressure, a path where you do not have to close your heart in disappointment or force it open in fear, a path where you can simply breathe and say, I trust life to bring what belongs to me. And in those words, there is rest. In those words, there is room. In those words, there is the beginning of a beautiful shift from struggle into receiving. The deepest truth about love is simple, and because it is simple, many people overlook it. Love cannot be forced. It cannot be pushed into the right shape by fear. It cannot be made real by overthinking, by pressure, by trying to control every moment, or by living in constant worry about when it will appear. Love is not something the soul receives through struggle. Real love comes naturally when the heart is open, when the mind is not crowded with fear, and when the spirit is willing to trust what it cannot yet see. This truth may sound gentle, but it is powerful enough to change a whole life. Many people confuse force with devotion. They think that if they keep thinking about love, talking about love, worrying about love, and trying to make love happen, then their effort will prove how ready they are. But effort is not the same as openness. Struggle is not the same as readiness. Fear is not the same as desire. You can deeply desire love and still block it with tension. You can long for something beautiful and still make it difficult to enter because your energy is full of fear that it may never come. The body tightens, the mind races, the heart becomes anxious, and in that state, it becomes harder to receive the very thing you want, not because love is cruel, but because fear creates so much noise. Love moves best in truth. Love moves best in peace. Love moves best in a life that has room for it. Think of a room with every corner crowded, every chair covered, every table full. Even if you bring something beautiful to place there, there is nowhere for it to rest. The same can happen in the heart. If the heart is crowded with fear, panic, self-doubt, and constant control, then even good things can feel hard to receive. Even kindness can be questioned. Even joy can feel unsafe. Even possibility can feel dangerous. That is why the inner state matters so much. Love is not only about what arrives from the outside, it is also about the space you create within. To trust life does not mean you stop caring about love. It means you stop treating love as a crisis. It means you stop speaking to yourself as if something is terribly wrong just because the timing is not clear yet. It means you begin to believe that life has a way of bringing what belongs to you even when you do not understand the path. This does not require blind belief. It asks for a softer kind of wisdom, a wisdom that says, I may not know how everything will happen, but I do not need fear to guide me. A wisdom that says, I do not need to force what can come in peace. A wisdom that says, if love is real, it does not need my panic to survive. There is a great difference between being open and being desperate. Openness says, I am willing to receive. Desperation says, I am afraid I never will. Openness says, I trust life to guide what is right. Desperation says, I must control this before it slips away. Openness allows breath, rest, patience, and clarity. Desperation brings tension, exhaustion, and confusion. And yet so many people have lived in desperation for so long that they mistake it for love itself. They think if it hurts, it must be deep. If it is hard, it must be meaningful. If it makes them anxious, it must matter. But anxiety is not proof of love. Pressure is not proof of connection. Fear is not proof of destiny. Real love does not ask you to leave your peace behind. Real love does not require you to become smaller, harder, or more afraid. Real love does not need you to live in constant effort to keep it alive. Love that is right for you may still ask for honesty, courage, and care, but it does not require you to destroy your inner peace just to receive it. And before love even comes in the form you dream of, this truth can begin healing you now. You can stop bowing to fear. You can stop worshiping pressure. You can stop believing that struggle is the price of being chosen. There is a soft law in life that many people feel before they understand it. The more you try to grip what must unfold naturally, the more tense everything becomes. The more you chase what needs room to breathe, the harder it is to feel peace. This is true in love, and it is true in many areas of life. A flower is not forced open with fear. A sunrise is not pushed into the sky by panic. Seasons do not arrive because the earth begs. So much of life unfolds through rhythm, timing, and quiet order, and love is no different. It may ask for your willingness, it may ask for your openness, but it does not ask for your fear. Perhaps you have felt moments in your life when something beautiful happened after you stopped trying so hard to control it. Perhaps you have seen that clarity came after you stopped forcing answers. Perhaps you have noticed that peace entered when you finally released the need to manage every outcome. That same wisdom belongs here too. Love often arrives in an atmosphere of trust. It often comes when you have returned to yourself. It often shows itself when your whole being is no longer shouting in panic, but quietly saying, I am here, I am open, I trust. That state is not passive, it is deeply alive. It is the state of someone who knows they do not need to live in fear in order to be found by what is true. The mind often says, but if I stop trying, nothing will happen. That is one of the old fears. It says that without constant effort, life will forget you. It says that if you stop pushing, you will lose your chance. It says that peace is dangerous because peace looks too still. But peace is not the absence of movement. Peace is the right kind of movement. Peace makes room for wisdom. Peace allows clearer choices. Peace helps you notice what is real and what is only fear wearing a mask. When you stop trying to control every detail, you do not stop living. You begin to live with more trust, more presence, and more openness to what can truly support you. There is also a deep kind of self-respect inside this truth. When you trust life to bring what belongs to you, you stop begging to be chosen in places where your spirit is not at peace. You stop treating yourself like someone who must chase crumbs in order to feel worthy. You stop making every delay into a statement about your value. You stop giving fear the power to define your relationship with love. And that changes the whole way you move through the world. You begin to stand differently. You begin to speak differently. You begin to hold yourself with more grace. You begin to understand that your heart is not something to drag through panic. Your heart is something to honor. This is why trust is not weak. Trust is not doing nothing. Trust is a choice of energy. Trust is the decision to stop feeding fear as if fear is your guide. Trust is saying, I choose peace over panic. I choose openness over pressure. I choose to believe that what is meant for me can come in a way that does not wound me. These words matter because your inner state shapes the way you experience everything. If you move through life believing love only comes through struggle, then even good things may feel unsafe. But if you begin to believe that love can come with peace, then your heart begins to soften toward receiving it. Sometimes people think they are protecting themselves by trying to control everything. They believe that if they think enough, predict enough, and worry enough, they can prevent pain. But control cannot create certainty. It can only create exhaustion. It can make the spirit feel as if it must be on guard at all times. It can steal the joy of the present because the mind is always trying to secure the future. And in love, this becomes especially painful because love is not built in fear. Love asks for presence. Love asks for honesty. Love asks for openness. These things become much harder when the mind is living in constant defense. When you let go of trying to force love, something healing begins. The body relaxes. The breath deepens. The mind becomes quieter. You start to feel your own center again. And from that center, you begin to understand that love is not only about being met by someone or something outside you. It is also about meeting yourself in a new way. It is about no longer turning against yourself in the waiting. It is about no longer making delay into shame. It is about no longer treating your own heart like a problem to be solved. In this softer space, you become more able to receive what is real because you are no longer drowning in the noise of fear. There is wisdom in becoming available without becoming desperate. There is wisdom in hoping without clinging. There is wisdom in wanting something beautiful while still staying rooted in peace. Many people have not been shown how to do this. They have been shown two extremes: either chase and exhaust yourself, or shut down and pretend you do not care. But there is another way. You can stay open without becoming frantic. You can stay hopeful without becoming lost. You can desire love without making your life into a struggle around it. That balanced place is where the soul feels safest. That balanced place is where clarity grows. The truth is that life is always moving, even when you cannot see it, even when you do not understand it, even when the outside seems quiet. There are things aligning beyond your sight. There are lessons ripening within you. There are patterns loosening. There are old fears being exposed so they can heal. There are spaces being cleared. There are moments of unseen preparation. And when you trust this, the waiting changes. It is no longer empty punishment. It becomes sacred ground. It becomes a place where you learn how to stand in peace before the answer arrives. It becomes a place where you learn that your life is not on hold. Your life is unfolding now. If love is to enter your life in a way that can truly bless you, then the inner space matters, the condition of your heart matters, the story you tell yourself matters. If the story is, love is hard, love is painful, love never stays, love makes me anxious, then those old beliefs shape your energy. But if the story begins to change, even little by little, then the whole inner world begins to shift. What if the new story is, love can come in peace, love does not need fear, love belongs in a life where I can breathe, love can find me when I stop fighting life. That story is softer, but it is also stronger. It carries room, it carries hope, it carries healing. To stop forcing is to return to natural truth. It is to remember that what is deeply meant for you does not need to be dragged into place by fear. It can arrive through timing. It can arrive through clarity. It can arrive through honesty. It can arrive through doors opening that you did not expect. Life is capable of bringing good in ways the anxious mind cannot plan. But you must have enough trust to let life be life. You must have enough softness to stop making every unknown into danger. You must have enough faith to believe that peace is not laziness. Peace is alignment. This is where real ease begins, not because everything is instantly solved, but because your relationship with love changes. You are no longer standing outside yourself, begging for proof. You are no longer measuring your worth by how quickly something arrives. You are no longer living as if love has to be chased in order to be real. Instead, you begin to say, I can stay open. I can stay kind to myself. I can trust what is mine to come in the right way. And those words create space inside you. Space for breath, space for patience, space for beauty, space for love itself. Let this truth settle into your heart gently. Love cannot be forced. Real love comes when the heart is open, the spirit is ready, and the need to control has begun to fall away. You do not have to become colder to protect yourself. You do not have to become harder to survive waiting. You do not have to become desperate to be chosen. You only need to become more honest with your own heart, more peaceful in your own body, more willing to trust that life knows how to bring what belongs to you. In that trust, fear loses some of its power. In that trust, peace becomes possible. In that trust, love has room to enter. Chasing love may seem natural at first. When the heart wants something deeply, the mind often believes it must go after it with all its strength. It thinks constant effort will prevent loss. It thinks worry will create control. It thinks overthinking will lead to clarity. It thinks that if it keeps searching, checking, and holding on, then love will finally appear and stay. But using carries a hidden pain inside it. It is not only about movement, it is also about fear. It is often driven by the quiet belief that if you stop running, you will be left behind, forgotten, or unloved. That belief creates deep suffering because it turns love into something frightening instead of something nourishing. When you chase love, you often begin from the feeling that something is missing. You feel a gap inside. You feel the ache of wanting, and instead of meeting that ache with gentleness, you begin trying to outrun it. You fill your days with thinking, hoping, guessing, and searching. You become tense around silence. You become uneasy in stillness. You begin to feel that every delay means something bad. The heart stops resting. The mind stops being quiet. Even simple moments begin to feel heavy because they are all measured against one question. Is love here yet? And when that question takes over your life, peace becomes hard to find. Chasing love can also make you forget your own center. The more you chase, the more your attention moves away from your own soul and becomes fixed on what is not yet in your hands. You stop noticing your own life. You stop listening to your own needs. You stop honoring your own inner world. Instead of living from your heart, you start living from lack. And lack has a very painful voice. It says, there must be something wrong with me. It says, if love is not here, then I am not enough. It says, I must do more, be more, change more. Over time, these thoughts can become so familiar that they feel like truth, but they are not truth. They are the language of fear. Fear is one of the deepest roots of chasing. Fear of being alone, fear of not being chosen, fear of running out of time, fear of never receiving what the heart longs for. These fears are painful enough on their own, but chasing adds another layer of pain because it convinces you that your job is to solve all of them through effort, and that effort never feels complete. There is always one more thing to think about, one more sign to look for, one more moment to replay, one more way to question yourself. The mind becomes busy, but the heart does not become peaceful. In fact, it often becomes more tired, more confused, and more afraid. It is painful to chase, because chasing tells the nervous system that love is an emergency. It tells the body that there is danger in not having an answer right now. It tells the heart that it is unsafe to relax. And once the body starts to believe that love is a crisis, even waiting becomes hard, even calm becomes hard, even trust becomes hard. You may begin to feel restless for no clear reason. You may find it hard to be present. You may feel a constant low fear moving under the surface of your day. This is what pressure does. It takes something non-beautiful and turns it into a source of stress. Another reason chasing love creates pain is that it often pushes you away from your own truth. When you are chasing, you may ignore what your spirit is trying to tell you. You may stay where peace is absent because you are afraid to let go. You may accept confusion as normal because you are so focused on not losing the chance of love. You may lower your standards for how you are treated because fear says something is better than nothing. You may begin to call anxiety, passion, and uncertainty destiny, but the heart knows the difference. Deep down, the heart knows when it is being asked to abandon itself, and that self-abandonment hurts. There is also pain in the way chasing keeps love outside of you. It tells you that everything good is somewhere else, somewhere ahead, somewhere beyond this moment. It tells you that peace will only come later. It tells you that joy will only come when something arrives. It tells you that life cannot be full until love appears in a certain form. But that way of thinking slowly empties the present moment of its beauty. It makes your days feel like waiting rooms. It makes your worth feel delayed. It makes your peace feel conditional. And living that way is deeply painful because your soul is always being asked to postpone itself. Chasing can make you miss the love that is trying to grow inside you now. It can make you overlook the quiet ways life is already supporting you. It can make you forget that love is also in breath, healing, self-respect, honesty, rest, and trust. When the mind is obsessed with one future answer, it often becomes blind to the small blessings of the present. But the present is where healing begins. The present is where your energy changes. The present is where you learn how to stay open without becoming lost. If you are always running toward what is not here yet, you may never fully receive what life is trying to teach you now. Many people chase love because they think doing so proves how serious they are. They believe that letting go means not caring. They believe that stopping the struggle means giving up on their dream. But the opposite is often true. Letting go of the struggle is not the same as letting go of the desire. It is letting go of the fear around the desire. It is letting go of the belief that you must earn your blessing through exhaustion. Chasing does not make love more likely to come in a healthy way. It only makes the heart more tired. It only makes waiting feel harder. It only makes you more likely to doubt yourself when what you really need is tenderness. There is pain in always trying to read every moment for signs. When you are chasing, silence feels personal. Delay feels personal. Every unanswered question feels personal. The mind starts building stories to explain everything, and most of those stories are rooted in fear. Maybe I am too late. Maybe I am too much. Maybe I am not enough. Maybe love works for others, but not for me. These stories are painful because they do not just speak about timing, they speak against your worth. They turn uncertain moments into attacks on your identity. And over time, if those stories are not questioned, they can shape the whole way you feel about yourself. Chasing also creates pain because it makes it hard to receive naturally. When something good does appear, the heart may not know how to relax into it. It may still be waiting for loss. It may still be scanning for danger. It may still be bracing for disappointment. This is what happens when fear leads the way for too long. Even goodness can feel unsafe. Even peace can feel unfamiliar. That is why healing is so important. It is not only about what comes to you. It is about how safe you feel receiving it, and chasing makes that safety harder because it trains the heart to live on alert. There is a sadness that grows when love becomes a full-time search instead of a quiet trust. You may smile on the outside and still feel worn down within. You may keep hoping and still feel deeply tired. You may tell yourself to be patient while secretly feeling panic. That inner split is painful. It is painful to want something beautiful and feel that the wanting itself is hurting you. It is painful to carry desire and fear at the same time. It is painful to long for peace while living in pressure. This is why the heart needs a new way, not because desire is wrong, but because fear should not be asked to carry it. Think of how much energy is used in chasing, so much thinking, so much waiting, so much wondering, so much trying to solve what cannot be solved through panic. All of that energy could be returning to you. All of that energy could be healing you, strengthening you, calming you, opening you. All of that energy could be helping you become more rooted in your own worth. But when it is spent on constant searching, you are left drained, and a drained heart often mistakes exhaustion for truth. It begins to believe hopeless thoughts simply because it is tired. That is why rest matters. That is why trust matters. That is why peace is not a luxury, it is medicine. Chasing love can also lead to comparison, and comparison adds another layer of pain. You begin looking at the lives of others and asking why their path seems easier, why their timing seems faster, why their story looks more certain. And with each comparison, you may feel a little less at peace with your own journey. You may begin to feel that life is unfair or that you have been forgotten, but comparison has no wisdom. It cannot see the deeper story. It cannot see what life is teaching, healing, or preparing. It only feeds the fear that you are behind, and that fear is one of the deepest pains of all because it makes you rush against your own unfolding. The truth is that love was never meant to make you abandon yourself. It was never meant to make you live in fear day after day. It was never meant to teach you that you must chase until you break. Love that is right for you will not need your suffering to arrive. It will not ask you to forget your own value. It will not ask you to turn your life into a search party for your own worth. The pain of chasing comes from treating love as if it is separate from your peace. But peace and love were never meant to be enemies. Love that belongs in your life will not need you to destroy one in order to receive the other. It helps to see that the pain of chasing does not mean your longing is wrong. Longing is human. Wanting love is natural. Hoping is natural. Dreaming is natural. The pain comes when longing becomes fear, when hope becomes pressure, when desire becomes a constant battle with life. Then the heart begins to suffer, not because it wants something beautiful, but because it has forgotten how to want with trust, and trust changes everything. Trust lets desire breathe. Trust makes waiting softer. Trust reminds you that you can want love without turning against yourself in the process. The more deeply you understand this, the more compassionate you may become with your own heart. You may begin to see that all your chasing was never because you were weak. It was because you were scared. It was because some part of you believed you had to run in order to be held. It was because some part of you thought rest was dangerous and trust was too risky. And that part of you does not need blame. It needs comfort. It needs truth. It needs the gentle reminder that what belongs to you does not need to be chased in fear. What belongs to you can come in peace. There is freedom in no longer making love into a test you must pass. There is freedom in no longer believing that constant searching proves your worth. There is freedom in no longer letting fear lead your hope. When you stop chasing, the pain begins to loosen. Not all at once, perhaps, but little by little. The body starts to feel safer. The breath becomes deeper. The present moment stops feeling like an enemy. Your mind is no longer always running ahead. Your heart has more room to heal. And in that healing, you begin to discover that peace itself is attractive. Peace itself is powerful. Peace itself changes the kind of love you are able to receive. You do not need to make love happen by force. You do not need to hurt yourself with endless searching. You do not need to live as if every delay is a sign against you. There is another way, a way of softness, a way of self-respect, a way of trusting that life does not need your panic in order to bring what is right. That way begins with one gentle shift. Instead of asking, "How do I chase this harder?" you begin asking, "How do I trust this more deeply?" That question opens a new path, a path where the heart can breathe, a path where peace can return, a path where love is no longer something you run after in fear, but something you become ready to receive in trust. Trust is often misunderstood. Many people hear the word trust and think it means sitting back, doing nothing, and hoping life will fix everything on its own. But real trust is not lazy, and it is not empty. Real trust is alive. It is calm, but it is not weak. It is soft, but it is not foolish. It is one of the deepest kinds of strength a person can carry, because trust allows the heart to stay open without being ruled by fear. Trust says, "I do not need to force my way through life in order to receive what is meant for me." Trust says, "I can breathe, I can stay present, and I can believe that life is still moving even when I cannot yet see the full picture." When a person has lived for a long time in worry, they may find trust hard at first. The mind that has been trained by fear often believes that trust is dangerous. It says, "If I stop worrying, I will lose control. If I stop chasing, I will be forgotten. If I stop trying to make everything happen, nothing good will come." But that is the voice of fear trying to protect old pain. Fear wants action, even if that action is exhausting. Fear wants noise, even if that noise steals your peace. Fear wants to stay busy because it believes stillness is unsafe. Yet stillness is often where truth becomes clear. Stillness is often where the heart remembers that life does not need to be pushed every second in order to keep moving. Trust means believing that what belongs to you is not so fragile that it will disappear the moment you relax. It means believing that love does not depend on your constant fear to survive. It means believing that life can work in ways your mind cannot always predict. This does not mean that every moment will make sense. It does not mean that you will always know why things are unfolding the way they are. It means that even in not knowing, you do not have to fall apart. Even in waiting, you do not have to turn against yourself. Even in uncertainty, you do not have to make fear your guide. There is a very quiet kind of healing that begins when you stop asking fear to lead your life. For so many people, fear has become the voice they listen to first. Fear speaks quickly. Fear speaks loudly. Fear tells them to rush, to panic, to assume the worst, to read every delay as rejection, to read every silence as a closed door. But trust speaks differently. Trust does not shout. Trust does not rush. Trust says, "Be still, breathe. Let the moment be what it is before you decide what it means." Trust gives space where fear creates pressure. Trust brings softness where fear creates tightness. Trust allows wisdom to rise. To trust life means to believe that your path is not random, even when it feels unclear. It means believing that delays do not always mean denial. It means believing that closed doors may also be forms of protection. It means believing that not every unanswered question is a sign that something has gone wrong. Some things take time because life is arranging them in a way you cannot yet see. Some things do not come when you demand them because the timing is not ready yet. Some things leave because they were never meant to stay. Trust does not make every loss painless, but it helps the heart understand that loss is not always punishment. Sometimes it is guidance. Many people think trust must feel certain all the time, but that is not true. Trust can exist even when you feel unsure. Trust can exist even when part of you is still afraid. Trust is not the complete absence of fear. It is the choice to give fear less control. It is the choice to say, yes, I feel afraid, but I do not want fear to decide how I see my life. This is important because many hearts wait to trust until they feel perfectly safe, but perfect safety may not come first. Often trust comes first, and then safety slowly grows around it. Often the heart has to practice trust before peace becomes natural again. Trust also means letting go of the belief that you must understand everything before you can rest. The mind wants answers before it relaxes. It says, tell me exactly when. Tell me exactly how. Tell me exactly what this means. But life does not always speak that way. Sometimes life asks for patience before clarity. Sometimes life asks for openness before answers. Sometimes life simply says, take the next breath, take the next step. Stay gentle with yourself. The rest will be shown in time. Trust allows you to live with that kind of unfolding. It allows you to stop demanding the whole road when all you need is the next few steps. There is freedom in understanding that trust is not the same as giving up. Giving up says, nothing good will happen. Trust says, I do not need to force the timing. Giving up closes the heart. Trust opens it. Giving up is full of defeat. Trust is full of quiet strength. Trust allows desire to remain, but it removes the fear that desire must be chased through panic. You can still want love. You can still hope for love. You can still pray for it, dream of it, and remain open to it. Trust simply changes the energy around that desire. It turns desperation into peace. It turns fear into willingness. It turns pressure into alignment. A trusting heart does not stop caring. It simply stops gripping so tightly. It understands that holding on in fear does not make something more real. It understands that chasing does not create truth. It understands that the soul was not made to live in constant tension over what it cannot control. When you trust, you begin to return to your own center. You begin to feel your own worth again. You stop measuring your value by how quickly something arrives. You stop treating waiting as proof that something is wrong with you. And this changes the whole way you move through your day. Life begins to feel less like a test and more like a relationship you are learning to live inside with peace. Trust also teaches you how to stop making every unknown moment your enemy. So much suffering comes from trying to turn uncertainty into a problem that must be solved immediately. The mind starts running ahead. It imagines loss, failure, disappointment, and rejection. It tries to protect you by telling painful stories before life has even spoken. But trust interrupts that pattern. Trust says, I do not know yet, and that is all right. Trust says, I do not have to decide today that this delay means I am forgotten. Trust gives the heart a chance to remain soft while life is still unfolding. And that softness matters because a soft heart can still receive. A fearful heart often only braces. When trust begins to grow in you, your whole energy changes. You speak differently to yourself. You wake up differently. You no longer begin the day by asking what is missing. You begin to ask how you can stay open, calm, and rooted in the present moment. You stop treating every hour as a measurement of how far you are from what you want. You begin to understand that your life is still full now, even before the answer arrives. This is not pretending. It is truth. The soul does not need to wait for the future to become worthy of peace. The soul can choose peace now, and that peace often prepares the way for what comes next. Think of trust as opening your hands instead of closing your fists. Closed fists hold tension. Closed fists try to keep control. Closed fists do not receive easily, but open hands are different. Open hands are not empty in a painful way. They are ready. They are willing. They are not trying to trap life. They are allowing life. That is what trust does inside the spirit. It opens what fear has tightened. It relaxes what panic has gripped. It reminds you that forcing and receiving are not the same thing. And in that reminder, the heart begins to rest. There are times when trust may look like doing less, not more. It may look like not chasing another answer tonight. It may look like not replaying every detail in your mind again and again. It may look like putting your hand over your heart and saying, I have done enough for today. I will let life carry what I cannot solve right now. That is not weakness, that is wisdom, that is trust in action. It is choosing peace when fear is asking for more noise. It is choosing stillness when pressure is begging for movement. It is choosing to honor your own nervous system instead of feeding it more strain. Trust means you no longer need to prove your worth by suffering. This is a very deep healing. Many people were taught in quiet ways that good things must be earned through pain, that rest must be earned, that love must be earned, that blessing must be earned through endless effort. But life does not always work that way. Sometimes the very thing that opens the door is not more struggle. Sometimes it is surrender. Sometimes it is softness. Sometimes it is the moment you stop performing fear and start practicing peace. Trust helps you unlearn the old belief that exhaustion is the price of receiving. There is something very holy about telling the truth to yourself in a quiet moment and saying, I do not know everything, but I trust that life is not against me. Those words can change the whole atmosphere inside you. They do not solve every question at once, but they make it easier to breathe. They remind your body that it does not need to stay in defense all the time. They remind your heart that it is safe to hope without panic. They remind your spirit that even when the path is not fully visible, you are still being carried by something wiser than fear. Trust also makes love feel cleaner inside you. It removes some of the heaviness. It removes some of the fear that says love must be chased or controlled in order to stay. It lets you believe in a gentler truth, that what is real can arrive through peace, that what is meant for you can be guided, that you do not need to turn your life into a struggle in order to receive something beautiful. That truth is simple, but it is life-changing, because once you stop feeding the old panic, the heart begins to remember its natural rhythm. It begins to move in a softer way. It begins to feel that receiving is possible. And maybe that is what trust really is at its deepest level. It is the willingness to let life be wiser than your fear. It is the willingness to let peace be stronger than your panic. It is the willingness to believe that you are not forgotten just because the answer has not yet arrived. It is the willingness to stay open while life arranges what you cannot yet see. Trust is not about having every answer. It is about having enough faith to stop making the unanswered parts of life your prison. It is about learning to breathe again in the middle of uncertainty. It is about learning that you can rest and still be guided. You can soften and still be protected. You can let go and still receive what belongs to you. One of the hardest things for the heart to accept is timing. It is not always hard to believe in love itself. Sometimes what feels hardest is believing in when love will come, how it will come, and why it has not happened yet. The mind wants quick answers. It wants to know why the longing is here if the fulfillment is not. It wants to know why some doors open quickly while others stay closed for so long. It wants to know why the heart can feel ready while life still says, wait. But there is a wisdom in timing that the mind does not always understand at first. Love does not only need desire. Love also needs space, readiness, and the right moment to land in a way that can truly stay. When something takes longer than you hoped, it is easy to think life is withholding from you. It's easy to think you are being denied. It is easy to wonder if you have missed your chance or if something has gone wrong. But delay is not always rejection. Sometimes delay is preparation. Sometimes delay is protection. Sometimes the heart wants something before it is truly ready to hold it in peace. Sometimes life is not saying no. Sometimes life is saying, not in this form, not in this moment, not until what needs healing has softened enough for this to bless you fully. Love that comes at the wrong time can still feel beautiful for a moment. But if the inner foundation is not ready, that beauty can become pain. If fear is still leading, if old wounds are still shaping every response, if the heart is still trying to use love to fill a deep emptiness it has not yet faced, then even something good may feel unstable. This is why timing matters so much. Timing is not only about when something appears, it is also about whether the soul has enough peace to receive it without losing itself. Life, in its deeper wisdom, often sees this more clearly than the anxious mind does. There are seasons in life when you think you are waiting for love, but love is also waiting for you. It may be waiting for you to believe in your own worth more deeply. It may be waiting for you to stop repeating old patterns that would turn blessing into pain. It may be waiting for you to learn how to rest in yourself so that you do not make another person carry the full weight of your healing. It may be waiting for you to grow strong enough to recognize what is right and gentle enough to receive it. This is not punishment, this is care. This is life preparing the ground before the seed breaks open. The heart often says, "But I am ready now." And maybe in many ways you are. Maybe you have grown. Maybe you have healed. Maybe you truly are more open than before. But even then, timing still belongs to something larger than the personal will. Timing includes what you cannot yet see. It includes the movement of other lives, other lessons, other doors, other endings, other beginnings. It includes the things being shaped beyond your sight. Trusting timing means accepting that your view is real, but it is not the whole picture. There is more happening than the surface shows. There is more being arranged than the worried mind can imagine. Nature teaches this so beautifully. A flower does not decide it will bloom early because it is tired of waiting. A tree does not rush its roots because it wants the fruit now. The dawn does not break before its hour, just because the night feels long. There is rhythm in life. There is order in growth. There is wisdom in ripening. And love follows this same deep pattern. It is not always late just because it is not early. It is not always absent just because it is not visible yet. Sometimes it is becoming. Sometimes it is gathering. Sometimes it is on its way in a form that will be truer than anything you would have forced. It takes great peace to stop asking, "Why is it taking so long?" and begin asking, "What is life preparing in me during this time?" That question changes the whole meaning of waiting. It turns waiting from empty suffering into sacred growth. It turns delay from a wound into a teacher. It helps you see that this season is not useless just because it is quiet. Quiet seasons often hold deep transformation. Quiet seasons often make space for clarity. Quiet seasons often reveal where fear still lives, where trust still needs to grow, and where the heart is still learning how to receive without clinging. There is also comfort in knowing that what is meant for you does not need to be dragged forward before its time. What is real can survive timing. What is true can wait without losing its truth. If something belongs in your life, it does not need your panic to keep it alive. This thought can bring so much peace to the heart. It means you do not have to spend your days trying to hold together what is not yet ready. It means you can let life move at its own honest pace. It means you can stop trying to force tomorrow open with fear and instead live with a deeper kind of trust. Many people suffer because they believe delay means they are behind. They compare their path to the paths of others and feel forgotten. They see what others seem to have received and quietly ask why life feels slower with them. But this kind of comparison cannot understand divine timing. It only measures the surface. It only sees the outside of another person's story. It does not know what is being healed in you. It does not know what is being prepared for you. It does not know what has been kept from you for your protection, or what is being saved for a moment that will make more sense later. Your timing is not a mistake just because it is different. Right timing often feels slow to the part of us that is afraid. Fear wants relief right now. Fear wants proof right now. Fear wants the answer before trust has fully grown. But the soul moves more deeply than fear. The soul understands that some things must ripen. The soul understands that real love is not only about arrival, it is also about the condition of the space it enters. If the heart is still full of panic, then even answered prayers may feel unstable. If the spirit is still trying to control every outcome, then even beautiful beginnings may feel hard to trust. Timing gives the heart a chance to become ready in a deeper way. Sometimes what feels like a delay is actually life clearing the wrong path so the right one can appear. Sometimes something does not come because it would have been too small for the person you are becoming. Sometimes a closed door is not the end of love, but the protection of it. Sometimes what you asked for must change form before it can truly bless you. And when you look back later, you may see that what once felt like waiting was actually guidance all along. And you may see that life was not ignoring you. It was shaping the path in a way your present self could not yet understand. There is tenderness in telling yourself the truth during these seasons. The truth is not that you have been forgotten. The truth is not that you are late in life. The truth is not that your heart is being punished. The truth is that timing has its own intelligence. It does not always explain itself in the moment, but it is not random. It is not careless. It is not cruel. It moves with a wisdom that often becomes clear only later. And while you wait, you are not powerless. You can choose how you hold the waiting. You can choose whether you meet it with panic or with peace. You can choose whether you fill it with fear or with trust. To trust timing does not mean you never feel sadness. It does not mean you never wish things had happened sooner. It does not mean you never grow tired of waiting. It simply means you stop turning that sadness into a story about your worth. It means you stop reading delay as proof that you are less loved, less chosen, or less deserving. It means you stop letting the clock speak against your value. You begin to see that your worth has never been tied to speed. Your beauty has never depended on timing. Your heart is still worthy of great love, even in seasons when nothing seems to be moving. There is power in whispering to yourself, "What belongs to me will come in the right time." Those words are not passive. They are deeply calming. They tell the nervous system that it does not need to keep sounding the alarm. They tell the heart that it is safe to soften. They tell the mind that it can rest from trying to control what only time can reveal. These words do not remove desire. They simply remove the poison of panic from desire. They allow longing to become clean again. They allow hope to breathe. And when hope can breathe, the whole life feels different. You stop fighting the present moment quite so much. You stop measuring every day by what is missing. You begin to notice what is ripening in you now. Your patience deepens. Your self-respect deepens. Your ability to stay open without clinging grows stronger. All of this matters. All of this is part of the preparation. Real love is not only about being found. It is also about being able to receive what you find with peace, honesty, and steadiness. Timing serves that deeper readiness. There is no shame in wanting love now. There is no shame in wishing it would arrive sooner. But there is also beauty in allowing life to have its own sacred rhythm. The same life that grows forests, turns seasons, and opens flowers knows something about timing. The same life that has carried you through so much already is still carrying you now. It has not stopped. It has not forgotten. It is still working, even in silence. And maybe today, the most healing thing you can do is stop asking life to move faster and start trusting that what is real will not miss you. Love that belongs in your life will not arrive 1 second too late for your soul. It will come when it can truly be held. It will come when the moment can support it. It will come when what needs to fall away has fallen away enough to make room. You do not have to force that hour into being. You do not have to fear that peace will cost you your blessing. You do not have to live as if life is careless with your heart. Love comes in the right timing, and the more deeply you trust that, the more gently you can live while you wait. There comes a moment in every healing heart when it becomes too tired to keep controlling everything, not because it no longer cares, but because it can no longer carry the weight of so much fear. It becomes tired of planning every possible outcome, tired of replaying every conversation, tired of trying to predict what has not happened yet, tired of holding love so tightly that the holding itself begins to hurt. That moment of tiredness can feel frightening at first, but it can also be holy, because sometimes the soul becomes tired of control just before it becomes ready for surrender. Control often looks like protection. It tells you that if you think hard enough, if you prepare enough, if you stay alert enough, then you can prevent pain. It tells you that if you keep your hands tightly closed around what you want, then maybe it will not leave. It tells you that if you manage every detail, then you will feel safe. But control has its own cost. It makes the body tight. It makes the breath shallow. It makes the heart suspicious. It turns the present moment into a place of tension instead of peace. And the sad truth is that control still cannot promise the safety it speaks of. It can only promise exhaustion. So much of control is really fear wearing a more respectable face. It says, I am just being careful. It says, I am just protecting myself. It says, I am just trying to make things work. But underneath those thoughts is often a deeper ache, the fear that if you let go, everything will fall apart, the fear that if you stop forcing, nothing will happen, The fear that if you release your grip, you will lose what little hope you have. And yet life teaches again and again that gripping is not the same as receiving. Holding tightly is not the same as being blessed. Trying to control love does not make love more true. It only makes the heart more tense. Letting go of control does not mean becoming careless. It does not mean you stop honoring your desires. It does not mean you stop caring about your future. It means you stop trying to carry what was never yours to carry. It means you stop acting as if your fear is the force that keeps life moving. It means you admit with honesty and humility that there are parts of the journey you cannot control, and trying to control them is only hurting you. That honesty is not defeat, is freedom. It is the beginning of peace. Think about how tightly the body holds fear. The jaw tightens, the shoulders lift, the stomach knots, the breath shortens, the mind circles the same questions again and again. This is what control does to the whole being. It is not only mental, it becomes physical, it becomes emotional, it becomes spiritual. It teaches the nervous system to live in strain. And after a while, even rest feels unfamiliar. Even silence feels strange. Even softness can feel unsafe. This is why letting go matters so deeply. It is not only about getting what you want, it is about becoming free from the inner prison of constant tension. A controlled heart often believes it is staying strong, but real strength is not always in holding on. Sometimes real strength is in loosening your grip. Sometimes real strength is in saying, I have done what I can. I will not destroy my peace by trying to do what only life can do. That kind of strength is quiet. It does not need to prove itself. It does not need to fight every unknown. It simply chooses not to feed fear any longer. It chooses not to build a whole life around the need to manage what cannot be managed by force. There is a beautiful image in letting go. It is the image of opening your hands. Closed fists cannot receive much. They are busy holding, protecting, gripping, and bracing. But open hands are different. Open hands trust. Open hands allow. Open hands are not weak. They are ready. They are spacious. They are no longer trying to trap life into behaving a certain way. They are willing to let life place what is right into them and take what is not meant to remain. That is the spirit of surrender. It is not passivity. It is sacred cooperation with something larger than fear. Many people are afraid that if they let go of control, they will lose everything they care about. But often the opposite happens. When you stop demanding that life follow your exact plan, life has room to surprise you. When you stop forcing one path, you can finally see another one opening. When you stop gripping the wrong thing, your hands become free to receive the right thing. Letting go does not always feel comfortable in the beginning because control becomes a habit. But beyond that discomfort is deep relief. Beyond that discomfort is breath. Beyond that discomfort is the return of your own spirit. There is also healing in realizing that you do not need to know every answer right now. Control wants every answer before it relaxes. It wants certainty before peace. It wants proof before trust. But life rarely works in that order. Often peace comes first and then clarity follows. Often surrender comes first and then the right next step appears. Often the heart has to stop forcing before it can finally see clearly. This is why letting go is not the end of wisdom. It is the beginning of a deeper wisdom, a wisdom that understands that not everything important can be solved by more effort. The need to control often grows stronger when the heart has been hurt before. If love once brought pain, the mind may promise that control will prevent that pain from happening again. It may say, do not relax, do not trust too soon, do not let anything happen without watching it closely. These responses are understandable. They come from old hurt trying to stay safe. But even understandable fear can become a burden when it rules the whole life. Healing asks for something gentler. It asks you to notice that old fear without letting it run every part of your present. It asks you to care for yourself without turning your whole existence into a guarded room. Letting go of control is not one single moment. Often it is a practice. You may have to do it again and again. You may have to notice when your mind begins tightening around a future it cannot control. You may have to stop in the middle of the day, breathe deeply, and tell yourself, I release what I cannot carry. I trust life to hold what I do not understand yet. These small moments matter. Every time you do this, you teach your body a new way to live. You teach your heart that softness is possible. You teach your mind that not every unknown is dangerous. This is how surrender grows, not always in one grand moment, but in many quiet choices. There is a peace that control can never give you. Control can give a temporary feeling of movement. It can give the illusion that you are doing something, but it cannot give true peace. Peace comes when you stop fighting with life. Peace comes when you stop asking your thoughts to build a perfect future before you allow yourself to breathe. Peace comes when you let the present moment be enough for now. This does not mean you stop caring about what is coming. It means you no longer sacrifice today on the altar of tomorrow's uncertainty. Letting go also helps you return to your own power. This may sound strange at first, because many people think control is power, but control is often fear. True power is presence. True power is being able to stay rooted in yourself even when the future is unclear. True power is choosing trust when panic feels easier. True power is saying, I will not let fear turn me against my own peace. That is real power. It is the power of a person who no longer needs to control every outcome in order to feel whole. It is the power of someone who understands that peace is not the reward at the end of the journey. Peace can be the way of the journey itself. There is tenderness in allowing yourself to stop pushing, to stop managing every detail, to stop trying to make love arrive exactly how and when you think it should. There is tenderness in saying, I am willing to release this now. Those words may seem simple, but they can change the whole feeling inside the body. The chest softens, the breath deepens, the mind grows quieter. You begin to feel that life is still here, still carrying you, even without all the force. You begin to remember that miracles do not always enter through effort. Sometimes they enter through openness. Sometimes they enter when the noise of control finally settles. The heart that lets go is not a heart that has become cold. It is a heart that has become wiser. It understands that control is not love. Fear is not safety. Pressure is not peace. It understands that what is meant for you does not need your suffering in order to arrive. It understands that life can carry what you cannot. It understands that surrender is not the loss of hope. It is hope made clean. It is hope without panic. It is hope with room for trust. And maybe this is what your spirit has been asking for all along. Not more ways to force, but more permission to rest. Not more strategies for control, but more courage to release it. Not more pressure around love, but more faith that love can come without all this struggle. Letting go of control is not a small thing. It is one of the deepest gifts you can offer your own heart. It says, I will not keep hurting myself in the name of trying to feel safe. It says, I choose peace over pressure. It says, I trust life to bring what belongs to me, and I no longer need to hold my whole body in fear while I wait. Now let yourself become still for a moment. Let the noise of the day move a little farther away. Let the questions rest. Let the pressure soften. You do not need to solve anything right now. You do not need to understand everything right now. You only need to be here in this moment, breathing gently, allowing your heart to become quiet enough to feel what has always been true beneath the fear. Love does not need to be chased. Life does not need to be forced. What belongs to you can find you in peace. Imagine that you are standing in a wide, open space filled with soft, golden light. The air is calm and warm. There is no rush here. There is no pressure here. The light around you feels kind. Almost as if life itself is holding you in silence. You are not being asked to perform. You are not being asked to prove anything. You are only being invited to breathe. With each breath, your body becomes a little softer. Your shoulders relax. Your chest opens. Your hands unclench. The deep tiredness that comes from searching begins to loosen its hold. In this peaceful place, notice what you have been carrying. Notice the weight of all the questions. Notice the fear of waiting too long. Notice the ache of wondering whether love will come. Notice the need to control every detail so that nothing goes wrong. You do not have to judge any of it. You do not have to push it away. Just notice it. Notice how long you have carried these thoughts. Notice how heavy they have become. Notice how often they have asked your heart to live in tension. Now imagine that in your hands you are holding this weight. It has become something you can see and feel. It may look like stones. It may feel like a bundle. It may simply be a heaviness resting in your palms. This is everything you have been gripping. The fear of being forgotten, the fear of missing your chance, the fear that if you stop searching, love will never come, the fear that you must do more in order to be worthy of receiving. Hold it gently for a moment, not with shame, but with understanding. This weight was never carried because you were weak. It was carried because you were trying to protect your heart, and now your heart is ready for another way. In front of you there is a quiet stream of light, clear and soft, flowing with peace. It moves slowly, but it is strong. It knows where it is going. It does not struggle. It does not rush. It simply flows. This stream is the wisdom of life. It is the part of life that knows how to carry what you no longer need to hold alone. It is the part of life that knows how to guide what belongs to you. It is the part of life that does not panic, does not force, does not forget. It simply moves with perfect calm. When you are ready, place that weight into the stream. Place the fear there. Place the need to control there. Place the old pain there. Place the restless searching there. One by one, let the burdens leave your hands. Watch the stream receive them without effort. Watch it carry them away without struggle. Notice that nothing terrible happens when you let go. The world does not fall apart. Your heart does not disappear. In fact, something inside you begins to feel lighter. Your hands feel freer. Your breath feels deeper. Your chest feels open again. Now whisper softly inside yourself, I release the need to chase. I release the fear of being forgotten. I trust life to bring what belongs to me. Let those words move slowly through you. Do not rush them. Let each one settle into your body. Let each one touch the places that have been tight with worry. Let each one soothe the parts of you that have been tired of waiting. Let each one remind you that you do not have to live in fear in order to be guided toward love. Imagine now that the golden light around you grows warmer. It fills the space around your head, your heart, your arms, your whole being. This light is not something outside you, it is also within you. It is your own peace returning. It is your own spirit remembering how to rest. It is the quiet truth that you are still worthy, still held, still loved, even before anything changes on the outside. And as this light fills you, you begin to feel safe, safe to breathe, safe to soften, safe to stop gripping so tightly, safe to trust that what is real does not need your fear to arrive. Now picture yourself opening your hands, nothing in them now, no strain, no panic, no need to hold on, just open hands, relaxed and peaceful. Feel what that means inside your heart. Open hands are not empty in a painful way. They are ready. They are willing. They are receptive. Open hands say, I no longer need to force life. I am available to receive. I am available to trust. I am available to let love come in the way that is right for me. Stay with that feeling for a moment. Open hands, open heart, open life. Notice how different this feels from chasing. Notice how different this feels from fear. You are not shutting down. You are not giving up. You are becoming available in a new way. You are no longer trying to pull love toward you through strain. You are allowing yourself to stand in peace and let what belongs to you come in its own true way. This is surrender, and surrender is not loss. It is release. It is room. It is the end of the fight with what you cannot control. Now imagine something beautiful approaching, not with noise, not with pressure, not with confusion, but softly. You do not need to know its exact shape. You do not need to decide every detail. Simply feel the truth of it. Something good can come to you gently. Love can come to you gently. Blessing can come to you gently. Peace can come to you gently. You do not need to chase every good thing into your life. Some things are already on their way, moving toward you with calm and quiet certainty. Let that truth settle more deeply now. What is meant for me will not miss me. What belongs to me can find me. I do not have to live in fear while I wait. I do not have to force what life can unfold. I do not have to prove my worth through struggle. Say those thoughts slowly inside. Let them become a resting place for your heart. Let them become softer than the old thoughts. Let them become stronger than the fear. And if your mind tries to return to questions, that is all right. Do not fight the questions. Simply bring yourself back to the image, the golden light, the open hands, the quiet stream carrying away what you no longer need to control, the peaceful truth that life knows how to guide you. Come back to this whenever you need. Come back when you feel yourself tightening. Come back when waiting begins to feel heavy. Come back when fear starts telling old stories. This place is always available to you. This peace is always closer than you think. Stay here one more moment. Breathe slowly. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the light around you. Feel the softness in your chest. There is nothing you need to force right now. There is nothing you need to chase right now. There is only this moment, and in this moment you are safe enough to trust. In this moment you are open enough to receive. In this moment you are free enough to let love come in peace. There is a quiet change that happens when the heart stops searching in fear and begins opening in trust. The whole energy of love begins to feel different. It is no longer something far away that must be captured. It becomes something that can be received. And this shift matters deeply because many people are not only searching for love, they are also, without knowing it, keeping love at a distance through fear, doubt, and old pain. The desire is there, but the openness is not always there. The longing is strong, but the inner space is still guarded. This is why becoming open is so important. Love does not only ask if you want it, love also asks if you are willing to receive it. Receiving sounds simple, but for many hearts it is not easy. Many people have learned how to give, how to work, how to wait, how to prove, how to hope, and how to struggle. But they have not learned how to simply receive. They have not learned how to let goodness enter without immediately questioning it. They have not learned how to feel worthy without first exhausting themselves. They have not learned how to open the heart without fear rushing in to say, "This is too much. This will not last. Do not trust it. Do not relax yet." So even when love begins to come close, the body may tighten, the mind may doubt, the heart may become uncertain. Openness is the healing of that pattern. To become open to receive love means more than wanting someone or something outside yourself. It begins much closer. It begins with allowing love to exist inside you now. It begins with how you speak to yourself in private moments. It begins with whether your heart feels like a safe place to rest. It begins with whether you can sit with yourself gently or whether every quiet moment becomes another chance to judge, compare, or criticize. A heart that is always attacking itself has trouble receiving love peacefully because it has not yet become a home for tenderness. This is why openness must begin within. Many people think love will heal everything once it comes. They think that when they are finally chosen, finally noticed, finally met in the way they long for, then all the fear will disappear. But often the opposite is true. If the fear has not been healed at all, it may follow them right into the very thing they prayed for. It may whisper, "Do not trust this." It may whisper, "This will leave too." It may whisper, "You are still not enough." And then the heart struggles to receive what it once longed for. This is why openness matters before the outer answer arrives. It prepares you not only to find love, but to hold it without drowning it in fear. Being open does not mean being naive. It does not mean saying yes to everything. It does not mean losing all wisdom or all boundaries. Real openness is not weakness. It is a steady willingness to let good come in without constantly shutting the door from the inside. It is the ability to stay soft without becoming careless. It is the ability to stay hopeful without becoming blind. Openness is not about accepting what hurts you. It is about no longer rejecting what can bless you. It is about becoming available to something healthy, gentle, and true. There are so many ways the heart closes without meaning to. It closes through old disappointment. It closes through silent fear. It closes through the belief that love always brings pain. It closes through the thought that if you expect too much, you will be hurt again. It closes through habits of self-protection that were once understandable but are now too heavy to carry forever. A closed heart may still long deeply, but it does not always know how to welcome what it longs for. That is why the healing is not only about desire, it is about permission. Permission to soften, permission to trust slowly, permission to believe that good can come without harming you. Openness also grows when worthiness grows. If deep inside you believe that love is for others but not for you, then the heart will keep pulling away from what it wants. If deep inside you believe that you must become more perfect before you can receive, then every blessing may feel uncertain. If deep inside you believe you must earn love through pain, then peaceful love may feel strange. This is why becoming open to receive love also means becoming willing to believe that you are worthy now, not later. Not only after you fix every part of yourself, not only after life becomes easier, worthy now, in this moment as you are, still growing, still healing, still learning. Worthiness does not mean you know everything. It does not mean you never feel fear. It does not mean you have no wounds. It simply means your heart has value that does not disappear in hard seasons. It means your soul remains lovable even when the timing is unclear. It means you do not have to prove your right to receive by suffering first. This truth can be hard to accept if you have been taught otherwise, but it is still true. The heart becomes more open when it stops arguing with its own value. The heart becomes more open when it no longer treats itself like a problem that love must solve. There is also something beautiful about becoming open in small daily ways. Openness is not only one great spiritual moment. It is also the choice to let a kind thought stay instead of pushing it away. It is the choice to receive a peaceful moment without rushing past it. It is the choice to believe that a good thing could happen without immediately preparing for disappointment. It is the choice to say, maybe life is not against me. Maybe I do not need to guard every inch of my heart all the time. Maybe I can remain wise and still be soft. These small changes build a new inner world, and that new inner world becomes a place where love can rest. A person who is open to receive love carries a different kind of energy. They do not carry the same sharp desperation. They do not move through life trying to pull love toward them with force. There is more calm in them, more truth in them, more room in them. They may still desire love deeply, but the desire is no longer mixed with panic in the same way. It becomes cleaner, it becomes warmer, it becomes rooted in trust instead of fear. That kind of openness is powerful because it does not chase, it invites, it allows. It says to life, I am ready to receive what is right without betraying my peace. There is a softness in being ready to receive that many people have not yet experienced. It feels like breathing without strain. It feels like waiting without punishment. It feels like hope without fear running ahead. It feels like knowing that your life is still full even while you remain open to more. This is such an important truth because openness is not the same as emptiness. You do not become open by becoming hollow. You become open by becoming clear. Clear of some fear, clear of some old stories, clear of the belief that life only blesses other people, clear enough that goodness can finally find a resting place in you. The heart that is open also begins to recognize love differently. It stops confusing chaos with depth. It stops confusing anxiety with passion. It stops confusing confusion with fate. Openness brings clarity, and clarity helps the heart choose what is real. When you are no longer starving for love in the same desperate way, you are less likely to cling to what does not nourish you. You are less likely to call pain by the name of love. You are less likely to settle for things that keep your spirit restless. Openness is not only about receiving, it is also about recognizing. And maybe one of the deepest parts of openness is this: the willingness to believe that love can come in forms more gentle than what you have known before. Maybe you are not meant to live inside struggle forever. Maybe you are not meant to keep repeating the same hard story. Maybe there is another way love can meet you, a way with more peace, more honesty, more steadiness, more room to breathe. To become open to receive is to become open to that possibility. It is to stop telling life that only pain is believable. It is to begin saying, I am ready for a love that does not ask me to abandon myself. This kind of openness is sacred. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is often very simple. It is the hand on the heart, the deeper breath, the kinder thought, the willingness to stay soft in a world that taught you to protect yourself through tension. It is the quiet choice not to shut the door from the inside every time something good comes near. It is the quiet decision to let worthiness be true now. And the more you practice this, the more natural receiving begins to feel. The more natural peace begins to feel. The more natural love begins to feel. So let the heart open a little more now. Not by force, not all at once, just a little more. Let it believe that it is safe to receive goodness. Let it believe that it does not have to chase what belongs to it. Let it believe that life can bring love in a way that honors peace. Let it believe that receiving is not selfish, not foolish, and not weak. Receiving is part of living, and receiving is part of trusting. Receiving is part of love itself. And when the heart is open in this way, love no longer feels like something far away. It begins to feel like something already moving gently toward you. The heart changes through truth, but it also changes through practice. A beautiful idea can touch you deeply for a moment, but when that idea becomes something you return to each day, it begins to shape your whole inner life. This is why daily practice matters so much. Not because you have to earn peace, but because the mind often learns through repetition. The heart often softens through repetition. The nervous system often feels safe through repetition. If fear has been repeated for a long time, then trust must be practiced with love and patience until it begins to feel familiar too. Affirmations are one gentle way of doing this. They are not magic words spoken without feeling. They are not meant to cover pain in a false way. They are simple truths that help guide the mind back toward peace. They are ways of choosing what kind of story you will repeat to yourself. Fear repeats its own affirmations all the time. It says, nothing will work, I am too late. Love does not stay, I will be forgotten. I must chase, or I will lose my chance. Those are affirmations too, even if they are painful ones. So daily practice is partly about choosing new words, words that carry more truth, more softness, more room for life to move. One of the most healing things you can do is begin the day before fear fully wakes up, before the mind starts measuring what is missing, before the old restlessness begins its usual story. In that first quiet moment, place your hand on your heart and breathe slowly. Let the breath be the first message you send to your body. Let the breath say, you are safe enough to begin gently. Then speak one truth slowly and clearly. I trust life to bring what belongs to me. Stay with that sentence. Do not rush to the next thing. Let it settle. Let the body hear it. Let the heart hear it. Let the day begin from trust instead of pressure. You can continue softly with a few more truths. I do not chase love. I allow it. I am open to receive love in the right time. What is meant for me will find me. Love can come to me in peace. Each of these sentences helps loosen an old knot inside the mind. Each one helps create a little more space in the heart. And even if part of you still doubts, that is all right. The practice is not about being perfect. It is about becoming willing. It is about planting a different seed than the one fear usually plants. Mourning is powerful because it shapes the feeling of the day, but you do not need to stop there. Daily practice can be carried into quiet moments whenever fear begins to rise. If you notice yourself spiraling into old questions, if you notice the body becoming tight, if you notice your mind chasing answers it cannot force, pause. Do not attack yourself for being afraid. Just pause. Put one hand on your chest if that helps. Take a slow breath and say, I release the need to control. I choose peace over panic. This moment is enough. Those words are simple, but they can interrupt the old pattern before it pulls you too far away from yourself. There is great power in using the body as part of the practice. When fear lives mostly in the mind can become its own storm. But when you add the breath, the hand on the heart, the soft voice, the stillness, the whole being begins to feel included in the healing. This matters because love is not only a thought, it is also an experience in the body. Trust is not only a belief, it is also a feeling of safety. Daily practice helps the body learn that it does not need to prepare for loss every second of the day. It helps the body remember what peace feels like. You may also want to choose one affirmation for the day and return to it again and again. Let it become a gentle anchor. While you are walking, whisper it. While you are waiting, repeat it quietly. While you are resting, breathe it in. You do not need a long list every time. Sometimes one true sentence is enough. I trust the timing of my life, or what belongs to me cannot miss me, or I am safe to receive love. Repetition matters because the mind has repeated fear for years. It may need many loving reminders before trust begins to feel natural. Another helpful practice is to notice the difference between your fearful thoughts and your chosen truth. For example, when fear says, I must do more or love will not come, answer it gently with, what is meant for me can come without struggle. When fear says, I am behind, answer with, my timing is not a mistake. When fear says, I will be forgotten, answer with, life knows how to find me with what is mine. This does not mean fighting with your mind all day. It simply means refusing to let every fearful thought become the voice of truth. It means becoming more conscious of what you allow to shape your inner world. Evening can also be a beautiful time for practice. At the end of the day, many people carry the weight of all the moments they could not control. The unanswered questions come back. The silence feels louder. The heart becomes tired. This is a tender time to return to trust. Before sleep, let yourself slow down. Breathe. Place your hand on your heart again and say, I have done enough for today. I release the rest into the hands of life. I do not need to solve tomorrow tonight. These words can calm the nervous system and help the spirit stop carrying more than it needs to carry. You may also add a very simple writing practice if it feels right. Nothing complicated, nothing heavy, just one page or a few lines. Write down what fear tried to tell you today, and then write down what truth says instead. Write down one moment when you chose peace instead of pressure. Even if it was only for a minute, write down one sign too. Had life supported you today, even in a small way? The purpose is not to create perfect answers. The purpose is to help the heart see that life is still moving, still teaching, still caring for you, even in ordinary moments. Daily practice becomes even more healing when it includes gratitude. Gratitude is not pretending that everything is perfect. It is remembering that even in an unfinished season, there is still goodness present. There is still breath. There is still learning. There is still tenderness. There is still life carrying you. At the end of the day, you can whisper, "Thank you for the love that is already growing in me. Thank you for the peace I am learning. Thank you for what is on its way, even before I can see it." Gratitude opens the heart in a different way than effort does. It softens, it widens. It reminds the spirit that blessing is not only future, blessing is also here. A simple daily rhythm can make all of this easier. Morning. Breathe. Place your hand on your heart. Speak one or two affirmations during the day. Pause when fear rises. Return to one sentence of trust. Evening. Release the day. Write one truth if needed. End with gratitude. This kind of rhythm is gentle enough for real life. It does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be sincere. Over time, these small moments begin to add up. The mind becomes less quick to panic. The body becomes less quick to tighten. The heart becomes more familiar with openness. What matters most is not doing the practice perfectly. What matters most is returning after a hard day, returning after fear comes back, returning after doubt speaks loudly, returning after the old urge to chase rises again. Every return is healing. Every return tells your heart, I have not abandoned you. Every return tells your spirit, we are learning a new way to wait, a new way to hope, a new way to love without fear leading everything. And as this daily practice grows, you may notice something beautiful. You may notice that love begins to feel less like something you are hunting and more like something you are becoming ready to receive. You may notice that peace no longer feels so far away. You may notice that the old pressure does not grip you as tightly. You may notice moments when you truly believe, even if only for a little while, that life is not against you. Those moments matter. They are signs that your inner world is changing. They are signs that trust is becoming more real. So keep it simple, keep it gentle, Keep it true. Let your daily practice say to your heart again and again, I trust life to bring what belongs to me. I do not chase love. I allow it. I am open to receive love in the right time. What is meant for me will find me. These words are not small. They are seeds. And if you keep planting them with patience and sincerity, they will grow into a new way of living, a way with more softness, more trust, and more peace. There is something deeply comforting in knowing that life does not need to be forced in order to unfold. There is something healing in remembering that love is not made true by fear, not made stronger by pressure, and not made more certain by endless searching. What is true can come in peace. What belongs to you can arrive without all this struggle. And the more your heart begins to believe that, the lighter your life can become. Not because every question disappears at once, but because you are no longer carrying those questions in the same painful way. You are not behind in life. You are not forgotten by love. You are not less worthy because the path has taken time. These are important truths to hold close, especially in quiet moments when fear tries to speak louder than peace. Fear will tell you that delay means loss. Fear will tell you that if you stop searching, nothing will happen. Fear will tell you that you must stay tense in order to stay ready. But none of those things are the deepest truth. The deeper truth is that life knows how to guide what belongs to you. The deeper truth is that your heart does not need to live in panic to be found by love. The deeper truth is that peace is not the enemy of receiving. Peace makes receiving possible. Think of how much of your life has already been carried without your full understanding. Think of how many times you kept breathing even in hard seasons. Think of how many times clarity came later. Think of how many times what seemed like an ending became a turning point. Life has been moving all along, even when you could not see the full pattern, and life is still moving now. It has not stopped. It has not forgotten your longing. It has not lost your address. It is still shaping, still guiding, still opening what needs to open and closing what needs to close. You do not have to do all of that work alone. Love comes when the heart is no longer trying to force every door. Love comes when the spirit is willing to be open, willing to trust, willing to stop making fear into a home. Love comes when you begin to believe that your worth is not in question. Love comes when the searching softens enough for receiving to begin. And even before love appears in the exact form you dream of, this way of living can already bless you. It can bless your mornings. It can bless your waiting. It can bless your relationship with yourself. It can bless the way you move through the world, because peace itself is a blessing, and peace is available even now. So let your heart rest in this simple truth. You do not need to chase love. You do not need to beg life to remember you. You do not need to hold yourself in constant tension just to feel that something good may happen. You can breathe. You can soften. You can trust. You can live your life with open hands and an open heart. You can let today be enough while still remaining available for tomorrow. you can honor your desire without turning it into pain. You can wait without abandoning yourself. You can hope without fear ruling that hope. If your mind becomes restless again, come back to the gentlest truth you know. Come back to your breath. Come back to your hand over your heart. Come back to the quiet sentence that makes your body soften. I trust life to bring what belongs to me. Let that sentence hold you when the old questions rise. Let it steady you when timing feels unclear. Let it remind you that you are not here to force every answer into being. You are here to live, to grow, to remain open, and to let life meet you where you are. And if today all you can do is release a little fear, that is enough. If today all you can do is take one peaceful breath instead of one more worried thought, that is enough. If today all you can do is believe for one quiet moment that love can find you without struggle, that is enough. Healing does not always happen in large, dramatic ways. Sometimes it happens in the small, soft choices that slowly change the direction of the heart. Sometimes it happens each time you stop chasing and choose trust instead. So as you move forward, let this become your way. Not a hard rule, not another pressure, but a way of living more gently with yourself, a way of remembering that love is not meant to make you fearful, a way of remembering that timing is not always punishment, a way of remembering that what belongs to you can come without panic pulling at it from every side. Let trust become more familiar than tension. Let openness become more natural than fear. Let peace become something you practice now, not something you wait to earn later. You are allowed to stop searching with tired eyes. You are allowed to stop carrying love like a burden. You are allowed to believe that life can bring you what is right in the right way. You are allowed to rest in your worth while you wait. You are allowed to soften without giving up. You are allowed to release control without losing hope. And as you do, something beautiful begins to happen. The heart becomes lighter, the body becomes calmer, the mind becomes quieter, and love no longer feels like something you must chase through struggle. It begins to feel like something life can carry to you with grace. So hold this close now. Love comes when I stop looking with fear. Love comes when I trust life to bring what belongs to me. Love comes when my heart is open, my hands are relaxed, and my spirit is no longer trying to force the moment before it is ready. Let those words stay with you. Let them become part of the way you breathe, the way you wait, the way you hope, because what is meant for you will not be lost. What is real will not be made more real by panic, and what belongs to you can still find you gently, clearly, and right on time.